How's it going, guys? Here we are at the C2GS Draft League Season 0, Week 11. This is the final week of the preliminary rounds. After this is playoffs. And this week we are against Cole Spitner. We are currently 6-3, and my opponent is 2-7. However, he has a very threatening team, and he has been known to get quite lucky with his Mega Sharpedo, which is extremely threatening to my team. So while the cards seem to be in my favor, I'm not necessarily not stressed about this. I'm very stressed about this. Uh, Myself and Turbo, who's currently in 5th place, it's a very tight race between us to see who gets the 4th place spot in the playoffs. If I win this by 3-0, then I'm guaranteed a spot in 4th place. And if I win by 5-0, then I'm actually guaranteed to squeeze into 3rd place. So that's what I'm really hoping for, but we'll see. So I'm going to try to lose at most one Pokemon if I can afford it. So first up is going to be Zeraora. This is a Choice Scarf Revenge Killer. Sharpedo, of course, is really scary to our team, and if he happens to we can outspeed any +1 Sharpedo, and if he happens to be adamant, we can even outspeed a +2 Mega Sharpedo. So we can sort of scout this by looking at damage rolls, so you could potentially deduce if he's Jolly or adamant based on certain damage rolls. Plasma Fist, it's mostly for the water types, primarily Mantine. His only electric immunity is Landorus, and we Oko Sharpedo and Mantine, unless it has a Walk-On Berry. Despite us having a mostly special moveset, I decided to opt for Plasma Fists anyway, due to Mantine's impressive 140 special defense. And Plasma Fist still one-hit KOs a max defense Mantine, even with only 40 EVs. We do 62 to 74 to Gallade, and we do 32 to 38 to especially defensive Bronzong. Aura Sphere is a strong fighting move. It does 74% to Sharpedo, and the reason why we have Aura Sphere instead of Close Combat is it one-hit KOs offensive Duraludon on 7 out of 16 rolls. Duraludon, as you might know, has paper-thin special defense, so Aura Sphere is going to be doing way more to it than Close Combat. We do 31 to 37 to Xurkitree. We do 40 to 48 to a max HP Incineroar, and we do 39 to 47 to Glastrier. Something to be aware of, though, is it could have weakness policy, which could be especially scary if the Bronzong is carrying Trick Room, which he likes to do sometimes. I'm not certain he's going to bring it against me, because I have super slow threatening Pokemon like Slowbro, Aromatisse, Melmetal, stuff like that, so he might not bring it against me, but it is something he could still do anyway, so I have to be aware of it. So if you see Glastrier, I'm going to have to worry about Trick Room. I'm too scared to bring Focus Blast. We learned Focus Blast, but I'm too scared to bring it. It would be good against something like Incineroar. I really don't want to miss Focus Blast, especially if it's against Incineroar. The main advantage to bringing Focus Blast is being able to hit Incineroar harder, but the downside of missing it is too great, because then I lose my Zeraora and potential Sharpedo answer. Hidden Power Ice is pretty much to snipe Landorus. It's his only electric immunity, like I said. And his entire list of electric resists are Whimsicott, Landorus, Duraludon, and Xurkitree. Hidden Power Ice does 58 minimum to a max HP Landorus, and it does 35 to 42 to a max HP Whimsicott. Something to be aware of is it could have Prankster, so he could get it hit, do something incriminating like Toxic or something, I don't know, or Encore before we get the chance to get the hit off. So that's something to be aware of. Also, with regards to Landorus, he typically runs a Swords Dance Life Orb set. I think he likes to ring Swords Dance, Earthquake, Stone Edge, and U-Turn. Not super certain about the EV spread, so we're going to have to see where we go with that, but yeah, that is what I'm expecting him to bring, because I think it's what he's always brought. I've looked at a few of his replays. I didn't look at all of them, but that's basically the pattern I've been seeing. And then, of course, Volt Switch is pretty good. The only downside is Landorus can come in, but once that's gone, we get extremely free Volt Switches off, which is really nice on a Choice Scarf Zeraora. The next up is Slowbro. This is going to be your offensive Landorus switch-in. It could also work as a Glastrier and Gallade switch-in. So rolling back a little bit, Landorus Earthquake does 31 to 36 to a non-Mega Slowbro. U-Turn is actually weaker than Earthquake, because 100 times 1.5 is 150, but 70 times 2 is 140, which is less than that. And Earthquake does 21 to 25 to Mega Slowbro. Glastrier Crunch, I think that's its strongest move against us. It does 33 to 39 to a non-Mega Slowbro, and it does 23 to 27 to a Mega Slowbro. Gallade can get Leaf Blade, which does 43 to 51 to a non-Mega Slowbro, but it does 30 to 36 to a Mega Slowbro. We have Shell Armor when we Mega Evolve, so we're blocking crits, so we don't have to worry about Leaf Blade crit. But some things to fear is it could Swords Dance, it could potentially Destiny Bond, which could be scary. It could even bring like a weird special set with like Charge Beam or something, I don't know. But it's like, I'm not expecting it, but it's technically possible. Adamant Incineroar Darkest Lariat does 57 max to a non-Mega Slowbro, and it does 40 max to Mega Slowbro. So we could just barely, if we're at full health and no rocks are up, just barely switch into a Darkest Lariat from an Adamant Incineroar, and then Mega Evolve it to take another, and then recover. Or slack off, I guess. Scald hits a lot of things, and it threatens a burn chance. Main downside is obviously the Mantine switching in, because it's likely to have Water Absorb. The following calcs are coming from a non-Mega Slowbro. We do 30 to 36 to a non-Mega Sharpedo. We do 53 to 64 to Landorus. We do 26 to 31 to Duraludon. 37 to 43 to Xurkitree. 27 to 32 to Gallade. 47 to 56 to a max HP Incineroar. And then we do 16 to 19 to specially defensive Bronzong. We have Brick Break, actually. This is solely a utility move for removing screens. His Bronzong really likes to set up both of his screens. I think the common set that he's brought is like Reflect, Light Screen, sometimes Gyro Ball, sometimes Shadow Ball. Maybe I might have seen Iron Head or Body Press. I'm not 100% sure. But anyways, the Bronzong really, in general, can't do much to us outside of Toxicking us. And besides that, it's pretty easy to just sit there and remove screens. Our Speed EVs lets us outspeed a Bronzong by 2 points, so even if he has 4 Speed EVs invested, we still outspeed it. And then we have Toxic, which is good to snipe Mantine. It's obviously the easiest switch on his end because of Water Absorb, and he walls us otherwise. A Toxic Mantine is like basically unlimited recovery. Unlimited recovery, excuse me, I did not say unlimited. I was actually considering putting Zap Cannon on here to snipe the Mantine, just because like even though it's 50% accurate, it's not going to be having that high of a damage output against us, and it's like almost enough to one-hit KO it, which is like pretty insane, and it gets a paralysis off on it, so we could theoretically like fail to recover and then we could land another one, but it seems too risky and too niche, and overall I think Toxicking it is better anyways, and then we can get something like Zeraora into Plasma Fists it. I don't have a lot on this team as far as like pivoting goes, so it'll be tough to switch it in. I'm going to have to basically be predicting a Roost or an Air Slash, which might be difficult, but it's kind of what we have. Next up is Hitmonchan. This sort of works as a Sharpedo Revenge Killer. Mach Punch does 51 to 61 to it, and it also does 34 to 41 to an offensive Duraludon. It does 29 to 35 to Incineroar before Intimidate. And it does 25 to 30 to offensive Glastrier. And the only reason why I bring that calc up is it might be relevant under Trick Room, where the Glastrier is obviously going to be much slower than us, so it'll be in our interest to Mach Punch it if it ends up in that situation. Drain Punch is going to be our main stab move. It also offers a little bit of recovery. It obviously obliterates the Sharpedo, and we heal 46% from it. It does 47 to 56 to an offensive Glastrier, and it deals 64 to 75 to an offensive Duraludon. We take 32 to 38 from a modest Draco Meteor, which is not a lot at all because thanks to our Assault Vest. And we take 35 to 41 from Steel Beam. And if he wants to use a more reliable move like Flash Cannon, it's going to be doing much less at only 20 to 24 to us. This is an Expert Belt set, I believe. Overall, this is a pretty good Duraludon answer. We do 38 to 45% with Drain Punch to a fully defensive Duraludon if he wants to like Body Press or something. We healed 22 to 25. And we take 35 to 41 from a Body Press. We have Thunder Punch mainly for the Mantine. It does 65 to 75 damage. Do have to be wary though because I'm risking getting like Scald Burn potentially. But we do take 20 to 24 from Air Slash and 29 to 35 from Hurricane, to note. Ice Punch hits Landorus and Whimsicott. The standard OU defensive Landorus set takes 58 to 70 from Ice Punch and 39 to 47 if we're intimidated, right? He usually runs Swords Dance, Life Orb, Offensive Landorus, like I said, so if he's running something like that, it takes 62 to 73% after Intimidate. Before Intimidate, it's a roll to KO, actually, so it's pretty awesome if that happens. And an offensive Whimsicott takes 59 to 70 from Ice Punch, but we were potentially risking Moonblast, right? Roserade is going to be probably our best Whimsicott answer. We take 17 to 21% from a modest Moonblast. There's a couple of problematic moves it could have that could worry us, like Knockoff, Encore, Endeavor, Hurricane, stuff like that. I think he brings max HP Whimsicott with Endeavor pretty much every week, or at least every week that he brings Whimsicott. So I am expecting an Endeavor Whimsicott. So I'm probably going to start play around that a little bit if I can. We obviously threatened it with Sludge Bomb, which completely obliterates the Whimsicott. The Sludge Bomb also does 60 to 72% to Sharpedo. It's an easy 2-hit KO on Xurkitree. It does 39 to 46 to Gallade, and it does 33 to 39 to Incineroar. Hidden Power Fighting is meant to snipe the Duraludon. We have enough speed EVs to outspeed even a timid Duraludon. And then we have 40 special attack EVs, which lets us OHKO a defensive Duraludon with HP Fighting. I decided to go with Fighting over Ground because I'm already, like, the advantage of Ground is that it's able to hit Xurkitree super effectively, but I'm already 2-hit KOing that with Sludge Bomb, and Hidden Power Ground doesn't make it a 1-hit KO, right? So I might as well just go for the Hidden Power Fighting and at least allow me to get damage off on something like Landorus or Mantine. We're still walled by both of them, but at least it's better to get a little bit of damage than none at all. Spikes is obviously a good entry hazard. It hits the entirety of his team, barring Landorus, Mantine, and Bronzong. Punishing switch-ins is pretty important for us to win, I think, especially if he has like a lot of leftovers going around and it's like hard for me to get damage on him. We could potentially get a spike up on the Whimsicott if we think it wants to switch. Something to note is that it could have defog. Landorus could also have defog, but I'm not expecting it. Synthesis is pretty reliable recovery. I think there's no Giga Drain this week. It only really hits Sharpedo, which doesn't really want to come in on a Roserade anyway. We're already outsped and obliterated by an Ice Fang, potentially. And even if I do want to predict Sharpedo switching in for some psychotic reason, I can go's Hidden Power Fighting anyway, which is another advantage over Ground. To be honest, this set can kind of switch into Xurkitree decently well. Something to fear is a Tail Glow, but nothing really switches into that anyway. Next up is Aromatisse. This can come in on Xurkitree or the Mantine. Whimsicott too, but it can be risky due to stuff like Knockoff or Encore. Xurkitree Thunderbolt does 36 to 42 to us, which isn't great because we don't have an Assault Vest on, but it's less than half, and we're able to Wish Protect to recover it. Moonblast is a pretty decent stab move. Bronzong is his only fairy resist on the team. We have enough EVs to outspeed Bronzong. Doesn't really help us that much, but might as well, I guess. Like, I don't know, if he's at like 2% health and we can kill him with Moonblast, might as well. We do 43 to 51 to Xurkitree, 39 to 46 to a max HP Whimsicott, and it's a guaranteed 1-hit KO on Mega Sharpedo. We do 38 to 45 to offensive Landorus, 62 to 74 to Duraludon, and 65 to 77 to Gallade. Wish and Protect, like I said, allows us to heal up not only ourselves, but also the rest of our team too, potentially, if we can get that happen. For that reason, I went with max HP instead of max special defense, just to maximize the potency of our wishes. And then Aromatherapy helps for removing status. Roserade is susceptible to status because of Scald Burns or Thunderbolt Paralysis, maybe. The rest of our team could also be status by stuff like Toxic, Scald Burn. If Zeraora or Hitmonchan are Scald Burn, that could be pretty bad. We have Aromatherapy to help alleviate that. And then last is Charizard. This is our main switch into Bronzong, especially if it's lacking Toxic. Like I said, he really likes to run both screens on his Bronzong, which really limits his move pool. I don't think I've ever seen him bring Stealth Rock either, so we can take advantage of that too. And even if he does, we have Defog. The main reason for Defog, however, is to actually remove his screens. So Defog removes the opponent's screens, so we can use that to our advantage. And then we can also threaten it with a Flamethrower. That's going to be our main stab move. I was originally going to bring Blaze Kick originally since we have physical moves, or since we have like Thunder Punch and we were going to go like full physical. But Flamethrower does a lot more to Duraludon. It does 64 to 76% to us, and then we have enough speed EVs to outspeed a timid Duraludon. Also, 39 to 47 to especially defensive Bronzong. The Flamethrower does 44 to 53 as Xurkitree, which is good damage. And we outspeed a Scarfless Xurkitree also, which is good to note. Thunder Punch is mainly for the Mantine. We have enough attack EVs to hit KO a physically defensive Mantine. It would be pretty cool to catch a Sharpedo switch in, but it could be unlikely. He can get it in for free with like Parting Shot on like Incineroar or something, so it's probably gonna be hard to get it in. Roost is mainly for sustain, like healing ourselves. And then, like I said, Defog, it removes any potential hazards. I'm not expecting them, but Bronzong could have hazards, and its main purpose is for removing the screens from potentially Bronzong or even Whimsicott. I think that gets screens too. So yeah, that's basically the team. Really hope this is good enough to bring me into the playoffs, but we shall see. So yeah, see you guys.